Hello, everyone, and welcome to AI Agents Hour. I'm Shane. I'm here with Abhi,
What up?
and we're coming at you on Monday around noon Pacific time, mostly on time today, which is great. And yeah, we got a sweet show ahead of you. How's it going, dude?
Dude, it's good. Fresh off the Thanksgiving break. Feeling energized. What about you?
Yeah, it was good. It's nice to see some family. Get to see some of the extended family I don't see too often. It's actually, it's nice. Don't want to do it too much though. Like a couple times a year is good, but yeah, it is nice.
Yeah, I'm still in the Iyer Manor with my brother and my family.
Yeah,
Yeah,
near the Austin area, right?
Yeah, the Austin area. Dude, I actually had a Thanksgiving question for you. Do you like Thanksgiving food?
I feel like this is a loaded question. So yes, I do.
Okay.
I'm not a huge fan of turkey, I would say. I don't think turkey is like the best food. But you get some, you know, mashed potatoes and gravy, some stuffing or dressing, whatever you want to call it. Get some ham. I don't know. You get all that stuff in there. You get some pumpkin pie. Love me some pumpkin pie. I don't know. I do. I'm a big Thanksgiving food fan. I usually eat too much, but turkey, nah, that's hit and miss. I could go without it. What about you?
It's all about the ham, dude. That's where I'm at. It's all
Yeah,
about that honey ham.
yeah, I agree. If you're listening, this is live. What do you think? What's your favorite Thanksgiving food? Is turkey overrated? I don't know. Let us know.
If you celebrate, I guess. But
Yeah, yeah. If you celebrate, not everyone celebrates, depending
I
on
feel
where
like
you're
in
at.
ethnic households, like Thanksgiving is like some Thanksgiving style stuff, but it's a lot of like, for us like Indian food as well. Well, like my parents don't eat meat or anything, so we had Mexican food for Thanksgiving this year because we kind of just do that. But like at Friendsgivings and stuff, everyone does like the whole thing, like the sweet potato casserole and that stuff that makes me fall asleep after eating it. So it was good. It was good.
It's the definition of food coma.
Dude, definition. But I needed that, dude. I really needed a nice little break. It was good.
Yeah,
I worked
agreed.
during the whole break though, but I felt relaxed for some reason. So, oh,
What
Dev's
up?
here. What's up?
What's up?
Yo, Dev, I looked at your MCP wish list. I'm considering it. Just letting you know. Just considering it.
Nice. Yeah, so Thanksgiving was good. We had a good show today. We're going to be talking about slash commands in Opus 4.5. We're going to be doing all the AI news. A lot of model, well, no, like huge models. I mean, I guess maybe one's kind of big, but just a ton of models coming out. Not like the Opus 4.5 drop or anything, but definitely quite a bit of models we'll be talking about. And then we're getting having a friend come on and talking about parallel CLI agents and what that means. So have a good show today. Shouldn't be too long today, but we'll go an hour, hour and a half, something like that. If you are watching this for the first time, please leave us a review if you like the show. If you want to give us a 5-star on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, we appreciate that. If it's not going to be a 5-star, don't bother. It's okay. We can't win them all. And this is live. Leave us comments as you go. If you have questions on YouTube, on X, on LinkedIn, wherever you're watching this, just say hello. Dev says Thanksgiving food is meh. Nothing compared to Holly/Diwali food. All right.
Yeah,
There
that's
you
just that's why. Where should we begin? On Opus?
Yeah, maybe let's talk about Opus, and then we'll dig into some of the other
I
stuff.
have I'm gonna overhype some stuff because I
Okay, this is new for you. Normally you don't get too overhyped, so let's do it.
so like I think Opus is a oh thanks Dev. So I'll close that then. um dude, I really think Opus is a game changer. I really think it is a game changer as much as it felt when 3.5 came out, like that same feeling. Um that same feeling I got when I was using 3.5, where I became instantly more productive, but I was instantly more productive at doing like one thing or like one task. I just became better at doing it. And I think a lot of people on Twitter are also coming to this realization about Opus, which is like it's really good at like just doing whatever you want it to do, especially with the right context. And it also shows that a lot of our coding agent tools have gotten a lot better at context management and how Opus uses this context and then also produces really good code. Like it's really good. It thinks about the things that you want it to think about. It goes deep. I'm using Opus thinking mode too. I'm spending a lot of money, but it's so good and it makes your productivity more than yourself. And so then I'm thinking now, like with Sonnet in previous versions, I've tried to multitask all the time, mainly because I have ADD. But like I want to be multitasking all the time, except I had to babysit too much when doing multitasking with the previous models. Now I don't babysit at all because it does the define things in scope really well. So I just have to check on it to go to the next stage of my development. And so now, like all the products that we're going to have a product we're going to talk about on the stream today. Now these products that were like talking about parallelism become even more capable because now you don't have to babysit. You can actually start many things at once, and it's on you to pick up where you left off. Have you tried it yet?
So I've used Opus 4.5 just a little bit in Claude Code, and I will say it mostly just one-shotted the things I need, but I feel like they weren't overly complex. I haven't been asking it. I haven't really put it through its paces yet, but pleasantly surprised. I haven't. So I've also experimented with running multiple sessions of Claude Code, and with the Git work trees and all that, or just different projects. I've always feel like in the past, it was so much babysitting that the juice was not worth the squeeze. So you telling me that maybe the juice is now worth the squeeze, maybe I will try. For me, it's often like I kick off tasks and while I'm in meetings and doing other things because I don't write quite as much code as I used to. But I feel like I should just always have something running,
Yeah.
just and always like why not? Like if you have a few minutes, you can basically like move a feature or something along, and so why not just always have it going?
Exactly. And that's kind of where we're moving to. So like the way I like evaluated Opus, and this is how I evaluate everything I like daily drive. Like I do multiple models for different things. I daily drive a couple of them. But now I'm opusing everything just so I could see what it's like, right? So like the categories of work that I'm doing. One, existing code base, there's a bug and there's a reproduction, right? Boom. Opus, go figure that shit out for me. Thank you. And cool. The second thing is I have a bug that is, or I have like a feature request or something that is changing the system. I don't. It's not. That's not necessarily just go fix it, right? Let's plan together. Let's figure out what are the like solutions. I'm talking to myself here, right? When I'm talking to it, but it's like, yo, help me come up with the right decision, right? Then there's let's do some crazy shit. Let's go explore some stuff that's so out there and come back to me with like some stuff. And I'm not going to act on it. I just want to read it and be like, wow, the future looks cool if we did that, right? So I have all these modes, and before like I was using Composer for fixing bugs because it was really fast. But then the quality wasn't necessarily always there. But Opus in all these categories, I'm getting freaking good code that I would roast not that much. You know what I mean? And even Code Rabbit doesn't say much on it, which is also good. That's like all the little tests I have. So I'm overhyping it for sure, but y'all should try it out.
Yeah, so we got some comments. Dev says, my takeaway from recent events is that we need better ways to talk about how models are different from each other,
Totally.
but we're probably not going to develop this new terminology anytime soon. I agree with that. There's so many models, it's kind of hard to keep track of what's better at what.
Yeah.
So that does seem like a problem. Daniel says, it's been a marathon year in AI. It seems like new state-of-the-art models and tools are dropping weekly. What surprised you the most in 2025?
This is one. And then Nano Banana and all the music stuff like Suno and stuff.
Oh, dude, Suno.
Suno for
Suno's
sure.
the video models getting the thing is, if you looked at it's just incremental improvements, right? If you really think about it, but every incremental improvement unlocks things that probably previously was not possible. And so that is what's exciting is you stack enough of these incremental improvements and it feels like you're in a different reality than you were 12 months ago. Even though like individually, like yes, this model is better, but I think it just unlocks things you maybe didn't understand because it's not like it's so drastically better. It is obviously better, but I think it just unlocks that next level of like autonomy that you didn't even really consider before.
I bet we can make a compilation of all the shit that's happened this year from just our show.
Yeah, we should. That is That's a useful project of just like dropping a whole bunch of things. Dev says Opus being so much cheaper is the top of my list of things I did not expect.
That's a power move too.
Yeah. Molefrog says, my experience, Opus 4.5 is way better at one-shotting good UX and UI. So I think
Yeah,
others.
I did the bomb game, one shot.
The Bomberman test.
Easy. Too easy for it. But like working on Mastra, it's not just a one shot, it's like a conversation. So I'm not saying that like you're having a conversation with this thing because you're building shit. You're building real things, y'all, like with your own code base. And it's helping you with your job. I love it. I do want to do a little segue into products that, like I said, there's a product coming on later, but I want to be fair to everybody. So I want to talk about the products. And this is not a new idea, these parallel stuff. So let me just share that real quick. First, I want to talk about, I actually over prepared for this than I usually do. So that's pretty good. I just want to talk about architecture of a code, like a parallel agent coding, parallel coding agent setup. The basis of it is work trees. There are several libraries that can help you manage and view work trees, and a lot of them are built into like different products. Each one of these work trees is a branch which has its own quote unquote agent. So it could be Codex or Claude or whatever the hell you use it. And then you're giving tasks between like in each one, right? So these are all kind of siloed. But the future of this looks crazy because, if they're all in your same system and there's a bunch of context here, you could share context between all these agents. So like, and Masha will be doing some stuff in this area, but like you can share context between these agents and you can have like shared memory or shared kind of skills, etc. That, if one agent learns something in one task, you can immediately learn that in some other things. Oftentimes we work on issues that are related to each other in a way, right? But if you're working on them in parallel streams, it's not going to be good. But if you're working on them with context of both issues at once and you're focusing on one, you can like make decisions based on the other. This happens so many times in my life, so I'm sure it happens to y'all. So that's just like basic architecture. Let's talk about some products, and then I'm done. So, and they're all YC, so that's cool. I gotta start with the homie first, Dex, and I gotta give Dex credit because like he's been talking about this world for a long time, and maybe like we're at a point where you can actually pull it off. And it's like a right time, right thing place for this product or anyone who likes it. So if you like this style, like Human Layer has this exactly what we're talking about, but it's their swag on how they do it. You should check them out. It's pretty sick. Next, we have another YC company, Conductor. So run a team of coding agents on your Mac. It's like a desktop app, and then you can kind of
I have played with Conductor early versions, and it was pretty cool. But again, it was the problem of I didn't really trust it, and I felt like I would just get more if I just monitored one really closely.
Yeah.
But maybe now it's getting good enough where I can give it a little bit longer leash. So maybe it starts to become more interesting.
Yep. And then lastly, we have, where is this thing? Our guest for later, but Superset from Keat. He'll come and talk about this later. I'm not going to talk about it now. And then lastly, you can build all this stuff yourself. You can use Cursor or Claude Code. Maybe not Claude Code if you only want to use Claude models, but if you're just using Opus, you can just do this in Claude Code already with Git work trees. You're not missing out or anything by using these models or these projects. But if you want to use different models and stuff, these harnesses, everyone's talking about these agentic harnesses, you can use one of these products as your harness and then do stuff. I'm trying different stuff. I built my own too. And I built my own makeshift harness using Cursor IDE itself. It's super whack, but it works. And so I'll probably migrate to one of these products if they're good.
Yeah, and I know like Tyler on our team has his own kind of harness that he's built, right? Yeah. So I think it is, I do wonder, what's the difference between these? Like, well, where do they win, right? So I'm really excited to talk to Keat to figure out like what's the differentiation.
Yeah.
And I know it probably comes down to a context engineering problem, right? Like if you're a little bit better at context engineering, you can do maybe 10, 20% more than some of the other ones. But I am curious to hear that and hear what the differentiation is. Maybe the differentiation is honestly just like better UX and DX.
Yes.
So literally could be, it's not that much different. It just feels more natural to how you want to work. Maybe that's the answer. I don't know, but I am really curious.
Design is going to be huge, right? It has you have to be the best design product. One,
it's like the
it's all
linear,
perfectly
the
competitive.
linear for parallel agents. It's like
Yeah.
who's making the linear for parallel.
Context engineering is
agent.
going to be super important. All that shit, and then a lot of these are open source too. So contribute to them and all that. So
Yeah.
try out Opus though. It's legit. It is legit. I've never shilled something like this.
If it's not, energy drinks, you haven't shilled it.
Yeah.
So that's a strong statement. Let's use Opus more, and I will. I'm gonna now I'm inspired. I'm just gonna send it on some tasks tonight and build some things. Just let it rip for a while and just see what it can do. I did. I will say I've recently have had some good luck of just like one-shotting entire applications that are pretty good. So I built like this time tracking application for my brother. I basically it was like a 2-shot using, in this case, I was using Replit, but I could have used Claude Code and I would have probably done, or a pretty good job too. But it is pretty impressive that, he basically needed a time tracking for his employees, and he had 25 people that he's going to have. He does snow removal. He's like, I need somewhere to keep track of time. And he could have paid like hundreds of dollars a month for like a few dollars per head. And I was like, dude, I'll just do this. And it'll take me like 15 minutes. And it literally did take me, in less than a half an hour of actual work, I deployed a fully working with admin control time tracking application for him and his whole team, deployed in production, cost me a few dollars, and it just works. So it's like
personal software, baby.
Yeah, it's like the age of personal software. It does feel like it's more approachable than ever. And so then I started thinking, like, what else could I do here? And so I think there's just a lot of things that if you think about software you pay for that you probably don't use to its full extent, and maybe you pay a lot of money if you're a company, you probably could just roll some of that yourself. Like maybe not a lot of it yet, but I think some of it. And it'll get better the more that people use and figure out what Opus 4.5 is capable of, I think.
Also, like having a mediocre version of the real thing is good enough, right? When you're hustling. Like if you don't want to buy Salesforce, for example, what if you just roll something? You just need it for a temporary thing. You're already using Notion as a database, right? Why don't you just roll something if that's what you want, right? So you have the ability now to solve business problems that you don't have to pay for. I guess you just pay Replit or Lovable or whoever.
Yeah, but a lot of times it's one of those things you can own the software then, right? I would much rather, if you give me the option, it's like, you want to pay every month for eternity, and as you grow, you're going to pay me more for the same shit? Or do you want to pay me once and then you have access to it and you can make it better if you want? There's there are definitely times where I would just rather pay the service, right? And not care about it. But there are also times where I would love to have the code, right? And I can craft it to fit our business needs and things like that. Of course, I'm not going to rebuild Slack right now or anything, right? Although you probably could.
You definitely could. we should have Opus. Let me just tell Opus to go build Slack real quick.
Just let.
I'm gonna ask it to do it.
Don't ask me. Yeah, don't ask me any questions. Just rebuild Slack. Just go.
Let's see how far it goes.
And then check.
Burn so many tokens.
Yeah. Then at the end of this, at the end of this live stream, check how much it cost us.
Yeah. I'm going to mute myself because this keyboard I'm using is so loud. But I am going to start it. You can keep talking.
Yeah, you kick that thing off. If you are just joining, this is AI Agents Hour. Today, we just talked a little bit about Opus 4.5. We're going to talk a little bit about some slash commands. Then we're going to talk about AI news. If you have comments, drop them in the chat. We like to talk to you as we do this thing. And we've been talking a little bit about parallel CLI agents or parallel coding agents and how people are using them. And we're going to bring on a guest later, talk a little bit more about that. All right.
All right, dude. I've I've sent it to do its duty.
All right. So tell me a little bit. So one of the things that some people here probably haven't seen, haven't noticed, is if you have looked at the Mastra GitHub repo recently, which I'm gonna shamelessly drop here in the bottom of this video. And so go give us a star if you haven't. We appreciate that. But if you have been paying attention, you'll notice the issue count has dropped tremendously over the last 2 weeks. Maybe that's Opus 4.5, or maybe it's just Abhi beasting on issues with the rest of the team. I don't know. The team's been cooking. But you have shared some things with the team and with me around some of the slash commands that you've been using. So I thought it'd be useful just to talk through how we at Mastra are using slash commands, how the team's using them. And of course, if you're listening, would love to know what you're using. And do you have your playbooks set up?
Cool. Yeah, I'll get into that now. So first of all, I didn't realize that some people don't know about slash commands in general. And so let me just do a demo of what a slash command is.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, I don't use them that much. So I need to start. So teach me.
Yeah, for sure. Let me get set up here. What should I show? I don't want to spoil anything for later in the show, so I probably shouldn't show that. I'll use this one. Okay. So here we go. I think it's this one. All right, you can see my code and this.
I can see.
So
there we go.
this branch I'm in is a work tree. And so we have a bunch of commands here. So what is a slash command? A slash command is just a prompt that you save. It can have variables and input args, right? Or the variables.
Can you give me a click of Zoom?
Yeah, dude, let me do that.
Perfect.
Cool.
That's good.
So I have we have a couple of these that we're just experimenting with. I made this one that has been surprisingly amazing at just, and with Opus, like, and me at the driver's seat, maybe because I built Mastra and I'm one of the creators, I was able to close a lot of issues. So there might be some context that's in my head as well that's not actually translating to this workflow. But I've had some of our customer or some of our other guys on the team try it out, and it's been pretty good for them as well. So what is a slash command? You just write a prompt, and this one's a pretty small one, so it's not that big. You can put them in your .claude or .cursor or whatever. And for this one, it's called make moves. That's like our kind of culture here at Mastra. So we have a make moves command. You can pass it an issue, and that'll read the issue from GitHub. And the first work step is to analyze. So it goes and reads the comments and issues. Now, you might ask, oh, well, that's hard. What if the issue is written poorly? That's true. This is more effective when people care about issue writing and provide reproductions and stuff. Thankfully, our community is amazing. So when we ask for reproductions, they're always there to give it to us. That can feed into what the research plan is. Because step 2 is research, where given what you know about all the shit that we just gave you, the threads, everything about the issue, go research the code base about all the things that are relevant towards that issue. Now, if you have a reproduction, the great thing is the code is then greppable. So you can see where, like, for example, if it's like a workflow or an agent, if the reproduction has that code, it can then go find the source. And Opus is really good at finding what package this shit belongs to. I thought it would not, but it does. Hallucinations are still something to worry about, though. So you have to be kind of semi in the driver's seat after this research phase if it's on something ambiguous, right? I've done some deep research type issues where it just went off the chain or off the rails, sorry. And it's because I was working on something else and I didn't pay attention, right? So for like really good reproductions, it's so great. Then it just understands the code base and then I have a stage where you prove it. And that's another thing that we've kind of started to adopt at Mostra, which is like fixing bugs is like kind of like a detective. You have to like prove, and it's like, like you have to prove it. Like, is this really a bug? Let's make a failing test and have the reproduction actually fail in our tests. And so at this point, once I let this go and I come back to a failing test, usually if the issue is very well, you know, uh, you know, documented, I will have a legit failing test that I can then prompt for the next thing I want to do, which is fix it or understand what plan it made, etc. So that this is make moves. Then we have like if you want to do PRs and like for us, we want to start writing our PRs descriptions and titles and commits all the same way. So slash commands can help that, so people don't have to have different styles. And yeah, the way I think about it is like these are just hotkeys for doing stuff like in like World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I was gonna say it's basically just like just hotkeys. I noticed like so you had Claude, and is there also cursor as well? Do we have
yeah, we have
cursor
a
commands?
cursor one where I don't know why we copied this. They're all the same in here between the two. I think they're maybe linked together. But yeah, you can use these in Claude. So if I'm in cursor, where's my cursor? I could do like slash. You open up the slash, which is, where's the slash on this keyboard, dude? Right here? Nope. Nope. Right here. Okay, there it is. Sorry. So you have like all these commands that you can just use. You share it with your team. So everyone's coding the same way. Like I have this one for making a PR. Like this will create a change set, understand if the change was major, minor, patch, open the GitHub with a humble PR description. You got to put the humble in there because if not, it freaking makes the PR description like you're like an asshole, Like if you read it, you'd be like, this guy's not a nice person who opened this PR. So you want that to be pretty concise and everything. So this has worked out really well.
I like the without flowery or overly verbose language.
Yeah, because it'll write if you let it.
Okay, we got a couple of comments that we need to talk about. So Sebastian, what's up, Sebastian? I talked to you earlier today. I always have a picture of Slash in my mind when I hear about slash commands. Yeah, Slash the guitarist. I can dig that. I think, but Dev says this is the second time I've heard someone relate AI coding to a real-time strategy game. The next IDE will just be StarCraft. I was literally, before you said that, Dev, I thought that same thing. It's like, it kind of feels like it, right? It's like the best StarCraft players, I played a lot of StarCraft, the original, were the ones that could manage a lot of things going on at once, right? There's like tons of context, and you got to like, what are these troops doing over here? What, are we mining? Are we getting gas? Like all these different things that you have to do simultaneously, and you got to keep all that in your head and be able to bounce back and forth really quickly. I wonder, will the best developers and engineers just be the best real-time strategy players?
If you're good at RTS, you're probably good at multi-parallel agents. Like I would not put, like, if you're one of those like League of Legends dudes or girls, you'll probably kill it at this because it's all about like making sure all your right now I'll get into one point. There's no metrics about what's going on across all the agents, right? Like in games, we have like the health bars going down here and there's like a magic points and all this shit's going on. You need telemetry to manage all these people, which we don't have, which I'm sure will happen soon. Yeah. But then once you have all that, then you can start doing stuff. So I think it is very much RTS.
Yeah, it's so Dev says, I watch a lot of competitive Age of Empires too. A lot of multitasking, context switching, fire and forget. It's the same. It's kind of the same stuff. I mean, the only difference is at the end of the day, you're, at least as of today, you're still responsible for the code that you're committing, right? So you still have to spend the time to understand it, at least at some level. Maybe at some point it's so good you don't have to. I think we're still a little ways off that. There's still hallucinations. It's still not quite good enough to not look at things. But I do think that there's probably something to having, some kind of real-time strategy dashboard of like, hey, this thing's been going for this long, it's now stopped. And you can kind of like click hotkey between different things. Like that's going to be the next interface for sure.
Yeah, a bunch of macros and stuff. You just like hotkey Command L, which is like maps to the PR commit, and you just do stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is like a weird gamification uh, of like just writing software, which is kind of interesting.
I thought this one was funny. Zerg Rush on 1.0 beta.
Yeah,
That's essentially what we're doing.
yeah. All right, well, dude, should we get into the news?
Let's do it.
All right, so we're going to talk about a bunch of new models that have come out. Some of them, probably bigger and more important than others, but we're going to talk about a lot of them. So, first of all, last week, I think it was last week, saw this message. I hadn't seen this model come out, so I don't actually know when it was released, but DeepSeek Math V2. So, let's just share this post from Simon Wilson. Says DeepSeek Math V2 means we now have an open weights Apache 2 model that can achieve gold medal performance on this year's International Mathematical Olympiad. Previously, proprietary models from OpenAI and Google DeepMind had achieved that. So it's on Hugging Face. So basically, you have a new DeepSeek model that is really, really good at math. So, again, open weights that's good. Means we can use it. It's good for the open source models to have a community to have a lot of good models. But DeepSeek wasn't done because today I saw this. So DeepSeek v3.2 and DeepSeek v3.2 special, I don't know,
Special.
reasoning. So first model built for agents, which that's very interesting. So the 3.2 is the successor to 3.2 EXP or experimental. So now it's live, and special is pushing the boundaries of reasoning capabilities. So if you look at of course, you got to look at the benchmarks. We have a comparison for like GPT-5 High, Gemini 3 Pro, Kimi K2 Thinking, and then you have the new DeepSeek ones. And you can see that like the AIME 2025, it's competitive, but the Special actually outperforms in pretty much all of them if you look. So I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they, benchmark maxed that one or what, but it is, at least on the benchmarks, it is killing it.
They benchmark maxed it.
Like, I don't know.
Probably.
Like
I
maybe
would.
maybe they just train just for, if I want to train one part of my body to hit a new PR, I'll just train that one thing. But it's, I mean, you can't post these scores without like turning some eyebrows. So this is like very, very impressive, especially again, it's coming from DeepSeek. I'm just making the assumption that it's open weights. Like I actually don't know that. We should probably, it looks like it's on Hugging Face. So yeah, I would imagine it is. Most of them are, but I could be wrong. We should probably look at that. But it is very interesting and a pretty pretty big big if true, so they say.
Yeah.
So this
Yeah,
one
I'm
is
thinking. Sorry, one thing about
yeah,
the
go ahead.
math. You know how like some people are good at math and like other people are good at English and stuff? I mean, it's kind of to Dev's point earlier, like how do you like determine models between each other? Do you think like some like for like mathematics or something, people like like the benchmarks you use, like how good is this model at math? But as a general model, just like you would like uh, measure someone's intelligence by like their education of math, science, whatever. Do you think that could be like the way you determine the difference?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe. I mean,
Do you think about that with people?
that like you
Like
mean
this
that's not,
dude's good at math, so he's probably like smart.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I do. But I also think there's like different forms of there are definitely different forms of intelligence, right? Like
Yeah.
there's also a lot of people that are like, you know, dang, that dude is smart, but maybe not has the best common sense. It's like they make a lot of bad decisions. So it's like just because you're smart at
Or
one
if they're
thing,
psychos.
yeah, just because you're smart at one thing does not generally translate. I mean, in general, it does, I think, but um, I think there's like it's not always true.
I
So
think the Gemma model that was a psychotic one was probably good at math too.
probably great at math. Just, you know, a little over analytical and took things too seriously, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
So I got another. This one came out. I think I saw this towards the end of last week. You know, at Mostra, we always kind of keep up with what's going on in agent memory. You probably all care about this as well. So Super Memory came out last week and said it's now the best in the world at agent memory. So state of the art results on long mem eval, significantly higher than everyone in the industry. So you can see their benchmarks here, where they compare, you know, ZEP and Super Memory on, you know, a couple different pieces of the long mem eval.
Jeff's always catching strays, dude.
Yeah.
I feel like they're always catching strays.
Yeah. You know,
I'm glad they didn't put us on this list.
yeah. I mean, we'd be right in that, you know, towards that middle bar though. We'd be right in
I
there.
think so.
You know,
We score pretty well.
for now, you know,
For now.
we will see, you know, check back soon. That's all I'll say. But cool to see. I think we've mentioned this here many times. I really do think that agent memory is going to be more and more of a focus. You know, if you have these really good models that do well with the context you give it, how do you get the right information in the context, and how do you have really long conversations where you can build agents that never forget, right?
Yeah.
Hasn't been completely figured out, but it's definitely way better now than it was earlier this year. And I think next year is going to be, we're going to see a lot more innovation in this front.
You can use Super Memory with Mostra, by the way. So if you want to use it,
yeah,
give it a try.
So this one came up as well. I saw, and I can be honest, I didn't do too much research on it, but Prime Intellect basically has released a model called Intellect 3. They basically scaled reinforcement learning to a mixtures of expert model, but it's based on GLM 4.5 Airbase. So it's kind of like a, you know, they did some supervised fine tuning and some RL on top of GLM 4.5. I don't know how good it is. I haven't really looked at it. Honestly, I don't care that much because I'm probably not going to use it, but it got a lot of heat, both positive and bad and negative. Like some say it was way overhyped, but I also heard you can see it scores relatively well, better than, you know, GLM 4.5 on its own. So it basically shows that you can fine tune and add reinforcement learning on top of these other models and maybe get some interesting results. I think just the pattern of this becoming more common is going to happen though. So that's why I thought it was kind of interesting to talk about it. It's the idea that now we have some of these other open weight models that you can use and you can build on top of. We'll probably see some significant new models come out that are very good at certain things just based on what, you know, what you need. And we kind of talked about like this a little bit with next year is probably going to be a lot of small language models that are going to be just fine tuned. This one's not really small by any means, but it is very interesting. Any comments on that?
I've heard about this Prime Intellect group from our friend Abhinav from Lucidic. I think he's like, he knows those dudes or something, but
yeah,
pretty cool. Just people are just moving.
Another small, this one's kind of a small model update. So NVIDIA dropped something called Orchestrator 8B. So it performed on Humanity's Last Exam benchmark. It was a 37.1, which is better than GPT-5, but it's also 2.5 times more efficient. So it's just a small, you know, relatively small model dropped by NVIDIA, available on Hugging Face. I don't think they really made a lot of fanfare about it, but, you know, someone noticed it. So people just be dropping models and not even telling people nowadays. All right.
The HLE, just for everyone's context, HLE is like academic benchmark. So, yeah.
Yeah, there's some comments in the chat. Dev asks, "Are you guys working on better memory?" Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, we're always improving.
We got some cool stuff coming. Juan says, been following Mem0.
They're the homies.
Yeah, Mem0 is
And
also
in
very cool.
V1, you'll be able to use Mem0 way cleaner in Mostra. So you should use it.
Yeah. All right. So I did see a bunch of new, and actually just happened today, new video model updates. So the cool thing about video models is we actually get to watch the videos. So let's do
Oh,
that.
yeah.
So Whisper Thunder, it
Oh,
was kind of
shit.
the code name. It was from Runway ML. And I actually kind of forgot about Runway, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
But now they are back on the map. So let me share this. So it's also known as Gen 4.5, and it's a new video model. And in a lot of ways, I think it's pretty state of the art from what.
That car's tight.
And obviously, there's some editing putting all these clips together, right? But the stuff that you can
Legit,
do,
though.
yeah, the stuff you can do with some of these video tools is just it's getting pretty insane.
Dude, any movie in the 90s. This could be any movie in the 90s.
Yeah, it honestly could.
It's Fast and Furious right here. Star Wars. Terminator. Game of Thrones.
So this says, today we're excited to share our new Frontier model, Gen 4.5, was built by a team that fits onto 2 school buses and decided to take on the largest companies in the world. We are David, and we've brought one hell of a slingshot. So,
Dude, that's baller.
yeah, so it's kind of cool, you know,
Baller.
like it makes you want to root for them a little bit, you know. It's like they're competing against obviously huge, way more funded teams, way bigger teams, and they release something, you know, pretty cool. It kind of feels like, you know, back when image models came out, it was like Midjourney, right? It was like Midjourney was smaller, only worked on Discord. You kind of wanted to root for it a little bit. This feels kind of similar and pretty cool. Like I've used Runway in the past. I was building some like video stuff. It was pretty good at the time, but I imagine, you know, now it's much better. I'd be interested to see how this compares to, you know, Sora and VO3 and all that. But they did release some kind of some benchmarks on, and I'm not sure what this ELO score is. I don't really know about this benchmark. You should look that up. What's ELO score benchmark? What is that? You should figure out what that means. But they showed the chart that they always need to show, which is on this benchmark, Runway is significantly higher than, you know, VO3, VO3.1, Kling 2.5, Sora 2 Pro. And yeah, it was just sounds like it was just released today. So
ELOs are a benchmark that was originally developed for chess to dynamically track relative performance and create leaderboards. Pretty cool.
okay,
It's a measure of skill by comparing different models against each other. Like a LLM Arena and all that type of stuff. Just ELO ratings.
cool. So it's so the model you might have heard, it was previously known as Whisper Thunder, aka David. They're really leaning into the David versus Goliath theme.
Yeah.
State of the art, sets a new standard for video generation, motion quality, prompt adherence, and visual fidelity. So cool. If you're interested in video models, check out the new runway model. But that's not all. It's not the only video model that came out today, or at least has come out. I think it actually released today. I wonder if they you know, timed it. You know, I don't know which one launched first, but I wonder if Kling saw that, you know, runway launched or vice versa, and they're like, oh, we got to launch too.
I like Kling.
So
Pretty cool.
there is a new Kling model, and Kling 01 is here. They've been testing it the last few days. It's a beast. Can use multiple reference images and get 360 consistency, control movement using a reference video, edit video from a prompt. It's available now. So here's the video that this person put together.
Meet Kling 01, the unified multimodal model that lets you create and edit video with a single prompt. It lets you do anything. It's almost like magic. Combine a reference video with a reference image to change a character. It even works with multiple characters. Provide reference images from multiple angles to achieve 360-degree consistency, and edit existing videos, change characters, backgrounds, or remove objects. So skip the tavern tonight. There's a new video model in town.
That's legit.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. I mean, that character consistency is always going to be one of the hardest pieces to solve, right? If you're going to build any kind of real storytelling tool with video, you need character consistency. This obviously is a huge step in that direction. There's the actual announcement from Kling. We'll share that as well.
Cool thing about Kling is you could put two clips together and it kind of like figures out how they transition, which is cool. That's how I did that Ghibli video back in the day.
Yeah, I've used Kling as well for some just like fun videos.
It also can make some weird stuff happen too.
All right, so Kling Omni launch week, day 1. So they're apparently doing a launch week, so they must be launching a bunch of things this week. But they introduced Kling 01, brand new creative engine for endless possibilities. So multimodal understanding. You can see, you can get some free credits, whatever. Let's watch the video.
That's tight. Whoa. Legit.
Yeah, so I think the cool thing about Kling is it feels like you have much more control. It's like a video editor, right?
Yeah.
Where, if you used VO3, I mean, they have some tools, or Soro, they have some tools to do video editing, but it feels more of like a generator, like you're generating just like videos that you then have to pull in somewhere else if you're going to edit, where Kling feels much more like a power tool. So that's my experience, at least.
Yeah, dude, I wish we could meet like an AI filmmaker and like see what the process is, because it has to be super detailed, like clip to clip and everything. I wonder what tools they use.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think there's probably, I bet you it's a combination of just like writing code, right? There's like the new tools, but then they probably have their old tools that they go back into. Like I have a video editor, right? Like I know what I use, what I'm familiar with. So I'll pull a lot of clips into there and do it. And obviously I imagine the experts have their their tools as well that they are very comfortable with, but they can generate the clips and other tools, do some things, and then pull it into what they're familiar with.
I did like Runway's video better,
Yeah.
and like the quality too looked a lot cooler. But it's tough to know if it's real or not. Because I guess we have to play with it.
Yeah. I think that's the thing. Is like it's probably not every shot is gonna get you there. It's gonna take multiple generations, I imagine. Amjad says hello. Hey, Amjad. Juan says wow. Kling01 clap. Dev says honestly, all I wanted was a better background remover. Well, hopefully by now you have it, but hopefully Kling can do that for you. And then Sebastian says they should also release a making of all these trailers. I agree, because it's not like they just generated. It took a long time to generate a 2-minute trailer, but if you think about the amount of money and time to generate any 1 to 2 minute trailer, it's expensive. So now now you're just paying for token costs or credits. All right. So one other thing that I saw kind of come across in this last couple weeks, and it's kind of gotten quite a few stars on GitHub, so I thought it'd be interesting to share and talk about, is this thing called Better Agents, which is standards for building agents better. Been seeing this all over X, probably because I interact with a lot of agent related things in the DevTool space, but it's a CLI and set of standards for agent building. It supercharges your coding assistant like Claude Code, Cursor, making it an expert in any agent framework you choose, Agno, Mastra, etc., and all their best practices. It's the best way to start any new agent project. I haven't tested it. I can't validate it, but
it's a cool project.
Yeah, they mentioned Mastra, so I appreciate that.
Those are the homies from LangWatch.
Yes, so you can see it's under LangWatch.
Mm-hmm.
So it basically tries to generate best practices or use best practices, so it can basically get started quickly and make it an expert on writing code. I'd be curious on how well it does compared to like our MCP doc server, and do they work well together? Or do you just pick one? Those are the questions I would have. But if this is something you're interested in, go give it a star on GitHub. While you're there, give the Mastra project a star too.
Just context engineering, dude, in another form right there.
Yeah. So keep coming back to the same patterns. All right, dude. Well,
we bring our guest on.
Yeah, let's do it. Before we do, if you are just joining us, thanks for tuning in. We do this thing live on Mondays, usually around noon Pacific time. Please go give us a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you like to listen to this. If you're not listening live, thanks. And each week we bring on guests. We talk about cool things like this next guest and this next topic. We kind of you kind of teed it up a little bit earlier when we were talking about parallel agents, and now we're going to go a little bit more in depth. So let's do it.
Yeah. So let's welcome our guest, Keith. What's up, dude?
What up, gang?
How you doing, dude?
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. I am calling out of the freestyle hacker house.
Nice.
Nice.
I guess maybe before we get started, you want to introduce yourself and then kind of tee it up with what you're working on, and we can dive right in.
For sure. So my name is Kiet. I am co-founding something new called Superset that I've been, Abhi's been around for kind of the inception of it in a while now. But we just launched it semi-officially this morning, and I've been getting some good feedback on it. But it's a way to run multiple agents on parallel. It's a terminal that lets you kind of create work trees and kind of group your agents in there so they can all work in like a totally parallel clone of your repo. And the goal is to let you do this for like 10 agents at once. Like the goal is like run 100 agents in a day, active development. And just getting started. Very excited. I've been using Superset basically as my daily driver for the past couple of weeks. I'm pretty bullish, but I'm kind of biased.
Yeah. So if it's superset.sh, right? That's the website.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we're just looking at the website now, the terminal app for parallel CLI agents. So you got a video there for anyone who wants to see it in action. Can you give us a demo? Can we see a demo?
You can probably see that demo if you want to mute it, and I can
Yeah, let's do that.
walk through it.
Hi there, I'm Satya.
So
Yeah.
that's Satya, one of the co-founders, talking about it. But he'll showcase it in a second. So I think you can pause there. It is it is a terminal management tool. So we're building this on Electron with NodePTY and Xterm. And Avi was telling me how that's kind of an ass stack, but it is the way it is right now, all in TypeScript. Big, the whole team is big TypeScript developers. So you'll see there's a top bar, that each top bar represents a work tree that you can create. So like he'll create a work tree in a second here, but I'll just give the rest of the tour, which is when you create a work tree, everything you do in there is grouped on the like left hand side tabs there. And each tab is a terminal, and we'll have other types of tabs in there as well, but each of them represent an agent. So my flow, I like to have Codex and Claude Code like running parallel. I might have my like lazy git or like a dev server running. So it's everything terminal for you to run in a work tree.
What's the inspiration behind the idea? Is it something you saw in the market, or
Yeah.
how'd you get here?
So I noticed over the past couple months, my kind of an avid programmer, but my programming and the core day to day of my job has really changed from writing a lot of code to kind of like queuing up a lot of agents and orchestrating them and moving their stuff around. And so I started to run into the kind of like the wall that we all run into of what do you do when your agent is running? Like, do you like go on TikTok, go take a walk, make some food, or do you start another task? And so I started starting other tasks, started playing around with work trees. There was just so much context switching and so much to manage organizationally that there was just no good tooling for it. And so we're building that to solve that problem.
That's sick, dude. There's a lot of competing. I guess like there's a lot of competing products now, or we just actually went through a couple of earlier in the show. Like,
Yeah.
what's I guess like one? Why should people start using, even if they're not using your product? Why should people start doing things in parallel?
I think you used to not be able to do things in parallel is the big one, right? Like we are now very recently at a point where the agents are semi-autonomous and can do stuff, and your job is more sitting at the high level and orchestrating these guys. And so if you're just doing that single threaded, you're spending like 90% of your time just waiting for things to happen. And so I think if you want to be really productive now, you kind of got to operate like a VP of engineering or like at a higher and higher level. And so I just think this is the next phase of coding. It's just like you have a bunch of junior engineers. You kind of orchestrate them. You kind of have to executive manage. Is my take.
Are there any like tips that you have for people who are using multiple coding agents? Is there any like ways of the trade?
Mhm. I mean, I would say you should use Superset, but I also would say that you should experiment with running work trees and try out other tools that do work trees because it's a good mechanism. And like UX for terminal management is the key. Like there's a lot of automation that you would want to set up to creating work trees, tearing them down, spinning up like parallel agents. We're also going to build a way for like you get notified when things are done and you get like a queue of stuff to look at in Superset. Once your agents are done running, you should have some kind of mechanism like that, like set up hooks for your agents, and just like have them kind of report to you and like basically make it so that you don't go crazy switching in between all the tasks. And it's just a lot of organizing.
Yeah. Do you notice that there's like a certain amount that you personally can run at one time where before your, mental ability starts to break down? Because I think that's the biggest challenge for me is like, how many can I run? I suppose it depends on how good the models are, how much you can trust them, how much leash you're willing to give them. But like Abhi, I know you kind of mentioned casually, like 2 to 3 is like your sweet spot where you feel like you can run 2 to 3 agents at a time and still keep tabs on what's going on. I know others on the team have said they've tried to do up to 5, right? But maybe it broke down a little bit when they get too many. Is there any like some that you've noticed yourself, Keith, or others that have been playing around with it have noticed like, okay, when it gets beyond this, it's maybe less efficient. Like there's probably a sweet spot of efficiency.
Yeah, for me personally, I can run like 3 on I'm chilling, like 5 if I'm like overclocking. I do know someone who is like legit cracked. Is like MIT guy, like CTO, also was in YC, that is running 10 at the same time, and I think he has a lot of automation set up to do that, and he actually has a very similar setup to what we built at Superset, but in his own like terminal management tool, like kind of TMUX style like setup. And it's kind of a tooling solve in my opinion. I think you really can run 10 at once, and I think you can run like over 100 a day. That's the goal of Superset.
I think you can run 1,000,000 if you want.
I think you can run 10 million.
Yeah, because not all this compute has to happen on your computer.
Yeah.
Maybe it happens to happen today, but not in the future. Like this is actually an interesting story for you, Keith. So I hung out with a homie at Dogpatch Saloon, which for all y'all who know, we hung out at the Dogpatch Saloon. Monster people hang out there, or we used to because we moved. But I ended up back there somehow, and I was talking to some people who are engineers, and they have 2 laptops is their concurrency problem. And I just thought that was like, why are you doing that? Like, why don't you just have like a node in GCP and just, SSH there and like just do stuff. But like for them the infrastructure problem is actually not in their wheelhouse, right? They're not that type of engineer or something. So they just bought another MacBook, which I think is the wrong solution, right?
Yeah,
So,
there might be some physical scaling limits to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got some good questions here. So this is like Warp. We'll talk about that in a second. And then here's a good question from Sebastian. Is your vision more focused on running the agents in parallel live or on focusing 100 or something in parallel and managing them in groups and sessions?
Yeah, it's kind of it kind of scales. I imagine it scaling like an org where you just get higher and higher level. Obviously, like you yourself running 10 plus threads is almost impossible. I do see right now my workflow is like I have Codex or I have Cloud Code. Like Codex is doing review, I'll like copy and paste it into Cloud Code, implement this, and then bring it over to like cursor compose and tell it to refactor. So do all these things that I feel like it's just like you want to start putting an agent on top of that using like something like Mastra, and have that agent now manage your workflow, and that kind of scales down or scale up is my opinion. But again, it's really early. We're trying to solve like the 5 to 10 first, but that's what I'm imagining it going, is adding more orchestration on top.
Yeah, because right now, like a coding agent is like per branch, 1 agent, let's say, right? You can run Codex and stuff, but the context window is not the same across all these tools. So if you're in the same branch and you're doing your review agent, and then you have to copy and paste it to the executor, and then you have to copy and paste that shit to the next dude, that's whack, So there has to be some shared context within Superset or any of these products that share the context between all the coding agents. Then you can have little swarms and little like pods, right? You can have little like pods of this, and then your slash commands can be like, actually, you're going to hit Claude Code and you're going to do this. And then after, you're going to go take that, put it into Opus, and then make moves, right? Are you planning on context engineering your shit?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think it's necessary. It's very much a tooling problem and a context problem where you want to have something that decides. Like right now, I'm manually kind of managing the context and feeding them between each other, but I don't see why that can't be automated. It is kind of low compute to figure out what to throw one way or another, or low reasoning to do, I think.
Yeah. Or we have like a bunch of conversations that, or like sub threads that every agent has access to and things like that. We'll take a look at it together when we do some context stuff.
Yeah, at the Dog Patch Saloon next week.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Dog Patch Saloon.
Yeah. I'll be in SF next week, so
Oh,
meet us there.
pretty.
Let's talk about the warp thing real quick, though. And Shane had this question earlier, Shane. If you want to ask like the differentiator question, actually, I'll let you ask the question.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of really interesting products coming out in this. And actually, we had this whole conversation of it's kind of feeling like if you were good at real-time strategy games, you might be good at managing a bunch of agents, because if you're good at StarCraft or whatever, and you're managing all these resources in these different places, managing agents kind of feels like that. You're like bouncing back and forth. You got to keep everything in your head, keep track of where they're at with these different tasks. And if you can do that really well, then you basically like have the right level of micromanagement when needed, but you can give them a leash, and I feel like you can be very productive. But where do you see, like with all these different products that are out there, like how do you think someone wins in this space? Like what are the key differentiation? Is it the UX? Is it the context? Is it a mixture of both? Like what do you think really is going to set Superset apart, but also like who the other ones, like what are the things that are going to help stand out for people that are kind of building in this space?
I think there's not a good answer to this mode question, honestly. Like even in tooling, I think that as far as something like Warp or even Superset, like a terminal tool, there's pretty low switching costs. It is very much like a UX solve right now for us. My take personally is just you just build like the most cracked team and you try to like out execute, and if you don't, then I guess you lose. So that's what I spend my cycles on, at least, just like getting a really good team together. Um, Bit of a non-answer, but I think the other side of it, the mode is that these workflows are you are generating some preference and your settings for it. As far as like if we go further down into the orchestration route, you'll start building kind of like how you do your workflow. And I think we're close enough with a lot of our users where we're figuring this out with them and we're building that into the tooling. And so at least in the short term, that's how we think we can win. Is just get a lot of engineers that we know are great and have this like exact need that we're solving and Warp is not really paying attention to, and just build the tooling that doesn't exist for that.
Yeah. So a couple questions in the chat. Juan asks, does Superset have native built-in tooling for notifying when the agents are done and require your attention?
Yes. One interesting thing we're doing is kind of overloading when you call Claude Code or when you call Codex and automatically setting up the agent hooks for you. So one of the hooks is to notify you when it's done or it needs your attention. Some of the other hooks are like, well, each step we can plug in an agent and kind of like summarize and give you a higher level view than what the agent would produce and save you tokens there. There are other stuff like the start hook to kind of like name the branch and have it like really, it makes it so that you can context switch more easily. So yeah, the answer is yes. Like we're working with the native hooks for these agents and stay on top of that.
You guys support Cursor Agent, dude.
Cursor Agent doesn't support itself, man. To build more hooks into their CLI. And we'll also have like a catch-all to like check the threads, and like if it's idle, we'll give you a ping as well and have you set that up.
Yeah. They don't want you to exist, you know.
Yeah, they want to build their own, so they don't want to play nice. So Juan also asks, which is a little bit different question. One thing that is becoming expected is a start and review of progress or a task on your phone. What's your opinion of this? And will this be available in Superset?
Yeah, there's a branch out there or a work tree out there to do that in Superset. I think my thing that I'm fighting a little bit with my co-founders on is I don't I don't think you should turn your brain off when you're developing. And I feel like when you're doing stuff on your phone and you're just like, that seems nice, like you're not looking at the code, it's kind of a brain off moment. And I think you still have to think really hard. But yeah, you should be able to kind of ping it and like maybe get summary. I just don't want us to enable like bad engineering practice to happen. That's my resistance against phones. But yeah, like you can set up your like cloud environment and clone work trees. We don't have all of that built out, but we're definitely playing around with it in our where. I just worry about you actually producing something useful when you're coding on your phone.
Shane and I have a benchmark for coding agents. It's called the
Yeah.
bar test. And if we can't prompt at the bar, then it's not that good, dude. It's
All
not
right.
that good.
Maybe you're
Here's my take. I think there's like I agree with you that if you want good results, especially today, like you gotta micromanage that agent. You know, like you can't really trust it, even with like 4.5. Like I don't believe that you can really like completely let it loose. Like you got to monitor it. You need to be. It should be like a collaborative experience, right? You're not just like handing off a task to a junior engineer. You're actually like working with them to like accomplish it, and you can move faster because you're working with multiple of them at once, right? But I do think there's a subset of tasks that really are fire and forget. It's just like, just bring it back. I don't care about the timing of it. Like it's in my head. It's like, there are many things where, and I can give you an example. Like last week, I wanted to add some like product instrumentation for analytics to our website. And sometimes I would just do that myself. I just write the code. Sometimes I would just like open up a linear issue and someone on the team might pick it up, or maybe I'll pick it up later. But I just, now I just go to Cloud Code and just like fire it. And I'll come back later and I'll like turn it into a PR. It'd be really great though if they just did the whole process, because it's a pretty easy thing to do, right? Like I trust, like I'll review the code, but it's like 20 lines of code. Just do it right. I'll review it. I'll know if it's good or not. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even test it. I looked at it, it was like, that's good. I just shipped it. Website didn't break because I knew what it was. Like I knew how to do it. I didn't know exactly where in the files like to do it. I didn't know how we did all the patterns, but I knew what good looked like. So I could just like fire it, go to a meeting, fire and forget, come back later, ship the thing, and it all worked. So I think there's like a different class. Like if it's a hard problem, you absolutely have to be engaged. If it's like an easy thing you would know how to do, but you just don't want to spend time on, maybe there's like you could do that from your phone while you're at a bar, or while you're doing something else.
Yeah, your kid's soccer game, you just want to check on your agent.
That's fairly confident in the chat.
Yeah.
So we got a couple other comments.
More questions for you.
Yeah, a lot of very active chat today, which is great. So Dev says, I very badly want Cursor to support sub agents. Juan says, sorry for so many questions. I've been thinking about building something like Superset that would talk to an orchestrator on my laptop that I can interact with agents with from my phone to start tasks whenever I have an idea. So it's kind of like what I was just saying, Juan. Like you think of something, you don't want to write it down for later, just like send it off and get started on it. And then you might pick it up yourself later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No worries about the questions. I mean, they've been really great, Juan. We're open source, so feel free to fork it, PR it, whatever you'd like, or build it yourself and add it. I've heard good things about Omnara. I am worried about the phone thing. But yeah, but I can be open to it. Obviously, we're playing around with it, and it makes sense. I do think it gives you the tool to shoot yourself in the foot. You should refrain from doing so.
And then
some users want to shoot themselves though, and that's okay. That's why we sell guns.
That's why we have. Yeah.
That was a bad joke. I should have made
that was a bad joke.
Well,
Hey, this is live. We can't take that joke out.
This is the USA.
cut it.
Cut the joke. Yeah. So, anyways, yeah. I mean, I think it's it's kind of this new paradigm though, and I'm feeling more and more pressure that I should just be having agents writing code for me all the time. It's like I always I think of myself as like I'm a pretty good engineer, but I also think like I'm pretty good at product too, and I have a lot of ideas, and I think a lot of you listening to this probably think the same. Like you have all these ideas you wish you could execute on, but you know you're never going to have the time. Well, now maybe you don't need as much time. You can actually start to execute on some of those ideas, whether you're building like personal software. Like I talked earlier, I built this one shot at a time tracking app, right? That my brother uses now every day with 25 plus employees, or, whatever else you could, like personal productivity stuff you want. And so like, for me, I feel like I should be running multiple agents all the time. Sometimes I need to be actively involved, like, cause I need to monitor the results, but sometimes it's just for like personal fun projects. I just want to see what it comes up with. I may never use it. So just like fire it off and let it cook. Spend a bunch of tokens.
So
That's
like what? So active development is like a real-time strategy game, and then inactive or dormant development, whatever, is like Roller Coaster Tycoon. You just like set things up and you just chill.
Just let it go. Just let it go. You come in and check on it,
Yeah, you'll probably get better results if you check in more often, I suppose.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think like you said, Shane, the world is changing. I mean, there's so much you can do. It's such an exciting time to build, and building in agents is just so much fun because I honestly get so much value out of using Superset and using parallel agents, regardless of the tooling. So I'm on a mission to like tell all my friends to do it and watch them struggle and try to build the tooling around it.
Yeah.
I'm a Superset user.
That's right.
Yeah, I've closed 2 PRs today with Superset.
That's sick. That's sick. That's good to hear.
I've also bitched a lot to you, so
yeah.
Well,
You do that regardless, though.
yeah, sure.
all right. Well, I'm gonna test it out. I've used like Conductor a little bit. I've used some other tools. I'm gonna give Superset a run because it is. I feel like I just need. It kind of feels like a lightweight solution. Like right now, it's like, and that's kind of what I'm looking for. Something just to help me manage it, so I don't have to manage my own Git work trees, because that seems like, what a waste of time. I don't want to do that.
That's a dope feature.
Yeah.
It's very seamless for sure.
Thank you. Yeah. Please do give me any feedback you have. We have work tree setup automation that I need to add the UI for, but it's literally like, I don't know. You'll see like 5 PRs a day because we have 3 engineers working on it, and they're all using Superset, so they're shipping like a lot of PRs all at once. So it's changing a lot.
It's always good when you can use your product to improve your product, which is probably what you're doing, right? It's like you're
We're
using
gonna
the
sneak
product.
Nostra into this code base,
Yeah.
so we can
Dude,
use it as well.
Yeah, let's do it.
Do stuff.
we need the orchestration agent on top.
There you go.
The thing is open source. We'll see some PRs for me eventually.
That's sick. Yeah. You made a PR into OnLook as well.
Oh yeah, I did. Oh, speaking of, not that, but speaking of, when's your interview? Tell the audience about what you're moving on.
We have a YC interview tomorrow, so I'm just kind of we're launching. We're just executing on the business, but we're excited to talk to the YC folks. I think my pessimistic take is that we're pretty early, and like honestly, like I'm working on the team. I'm trying to make sure that like we're really working well together. And so regardless of what happens, we're just gonna execute on the business. And any tips, I guess, on the interview?
I thought we bombed our interview, so you
we got rejected in our OnLook one, and then we just kind of continued working on it, and then like launched and went viral, and then like heard back from the partner. So it's never over.
Yeah, but you guys are 3 YC founders, previous YC founders, right?
3 previous YC CTOs, yeah.
3 CTOs? Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Y'all are technical as hell.
That's the bet. The bet is the team.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's in this space, you got to be able to move fast. And so having a good team definitely gives you an unfair advantage, right? It's hard to build a good team. So if you already have a good baseline, that's going to help. Robot Glock says, what did I miss? Robot Glock, thanks for joining. Superset. Go check it out at superset.sh if you want to run many Claude agents or Codex agents from your command line at one time. So you can run parallel agents. And because we'll just share this one more time. Go ahead. It's a GitHub star party. Go
Yeah, let's do
to
the star party.
superset-sh/superset on GitHub. Give it a star while you're there. Give Mastra a star. We appreciate that. And yeah, let's get these stars bumped up.
Yeah, appreciate it. Hot off the press, launched only
Yeah.
a few hours ago. So
Yeah, just launched.
feedback.
Did you launch on HN?
We did. We got buried. I've never been so buried on HN before.
Did you share the direct link, dude?
No, I didn't even. It's just like I posted, and then there were like 10 other posts like in the same minute. It's the launch day.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we'll launch again. HN is not going anywhere.
Yeah,
true.
keep launching.
Will do.
All right, Keith, thanks for coming on. I'm sure we'll hang out soon.
Yeah, hit me up when you're in SF, and
Yeah.
Abhi will play some tennis or hit up the saloon soon.
All right, dude.
right.
Thanks
All right.
for coming.
See you guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
See ya.
It's fun. Bye.
All right, dude. That's a show.
That was a show. Dude, Dev had a good roast on us right here. I just want to like put that there. You know, nice.
All right.
It still hurts, okay, Dev? It still hurts.
All right. Yeah, anything else you want to share before we wrap this thing up?
Just in Mastra related stuff. So we're on a quest right now to fix all our issues. So if you're a part of our community, please report issues, make fixes, help others in Discord. It really goes a long way.
Yeah, honestly, even just like posting a detailed issue in Discord gets to GitHub for us, and so we appreciate just letting us know and try the 1.0. You know, if you tried it right away and you tried it today, I think you'll see much better results today. It's like, so a lot of people are using it now in production. So use it, test it out, report issues if you do find any. We appreciate that.
The slash commands that we showed today, like if you're encountering an issue, like you could also solve it yourself using those commands as well if you're in open source. So have fun with that.
So someone's asking for the Discord link. It's in the footer of the Mastra.ai website, but I will grab it as well. 1 second here. I'm gonna do it, drop it in the chat. I guess I can't really drop it in the chat. It's not going to post to X1. Sorry, it doesn't let me do that. But it's in our YouTube. Go to Mastra.ai. Click on the, go to the footer of the website. You can find the Discord link. Join our Discord. Come and join a bunch of, thousands of other people building and playing around with Mastra and building some cool things. All right, dude. That was a show.
That was good. Fun times.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone, for watching AI Agents Hour. We do this every week, usually on Mondays around noon Pacific time. Please give us a review if you haven't already. Please like and subscribe and share and tell others if you think they're into learning more about AI agents and all this crazy stuff that's going on in the AI world. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
See ya.